You're listening to Episode 8B. Time to lean, and here's a song. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, I'm back.
What'd you get?
I got a Killian's Irish Red.
Oh, that sounds a lot
Speaking of
better than
beers.
this crap I'm drinking.
Oh yeah, yeah. And this is a staple at our house because
You're Irish?
well, they're very. Put it this way, Connie is actually pretty selective about beers,
Okay.
and so there's a relatively small number of beers that we keep always on hand that we both like.
Please do not drink staples.
Staples, and Killian's is at the top of the list. Connie loves.
Oh, that's
that
good.
one.
It's good to have a favorite.
There's a couple other ones. Red Stripe is one
I've
we
had
always
Red
have.
Stripe. That's good.
It's a tasty one.
from a beer non-lover, that it's good.
And there's a few others, but Killian's and Red Stripe are two that we always keep those on hand.
So
at
I
our
forget.
house.
Are you a fan of Guinness?
A reminder to our listeners from Episode A, Sean is on the International Space Station, so there is a delay in his responses. We apologize for any inconvenience. Our operators are standing on by, and your calls are impotent to us.
I am.
You are, okay. So sometimes you have.
She is not. Like a lot of people. So when we have Guinness, that's just for me.
So I'm curious. I hear a lot of people say about Guinness that it's different in Ireland than it is here.
I've heard that as well.
You've not experienced that, though.
I have not experienced because I've never been to Ireland.
Did you miss me?
Sir.
Of course. We always miss you, Phil.
Okay.
What were you
Sean
what were you
has
talking about? Landlines?
Beer.
Oh,
And Ireland.
John has a beer?
I still have, unfortunately,
I
I
have a
still
beer.
have the beer.
What are you having? Or did you already talk about it?
Talked about this already, Phil.
Oh, fine.
Killian's Irish Red.
Killian's. Yeah, no,
Just to
I
bring
figured
you
that's
back
what
up
he
to
had.
speed.
At this point, somebody may have spilled something and said a naughty word.
I never swear on this, but sometimes John does.
Well, there's only been one so far that I recall.
Well,
so at least this
try
episode
the rest
isn't
of the
too bad.
episodes.
I did hear some in the first couple, so yeah.
Yeah, no.
I know it happens.
So speaking of F words,
So speaking of F words, let's dive into our
let's talk to
our comments.
viewer mail.
Our one of the few
Yes.
we've had lately, and I don't think no news is good news. So keep writing some comments. We did have a
Heather K.
yes. Oh, go ahead, Phil. I think I'm just
No, it was Heather K. again. She's commented a couple times.
she's stalking us.
We have we have a couple that tend to comment more about the stuff, and we love the comments. Thank you.
yes.
But anyway, you tell the comment. But
Well, the comment is, without looking at it, because I'm not going to log into Facebook while I'm on this thing. So it was basically like,
It probably was.
I think you need to talk about Taco John's.
a Taco John's episode.
Yeah, and I don't think we can quite do a whole episode about now. Watch what happens. We might actually have enough time, but we will address it though, because we all have opinions and stories and things like that about Taco John's.
Well, and I do think
Sure.
for some reason, other ladies I've dated or whatever, they just don't get it. I think you have to
They really don't.
I think you just have to have had, because there are women that love Taco John's. It's not just for men anymore, Sean.
My sisters
No, but
like Taco
I'm
John's.
just
Or at least
kidding.
one of them does.
I think you have to have grown up with it or something. That's my theory. Because
Because they seem
otherwise,
pretty blasé about Taco John's around here in Minnesota.
some people,
It's like no
some
big
people are
deal.
like Taco Bell is better, and I'm like, what? No,
That
God.
is just.
I've heard that too.
That's effed.
Even if you're
You're making me self-conscious, Ellen. Damn.
so, Sean, what the fuck did you think about fucking Taco John's?
Yeah. Okay, let's frame this a little bit. So let's start with Sean. Tell us Taco John's then and now.
I could hear the music cue for that one.
There's not a whole lot to tell. Actually, one of my associations with Taco John's is actually another association involving you guys, because I remember. Oh,
Is this that one story with the names?
no, I don't have a particular story. I just remember generally when we used to travel across South Dakota, going back to Rapid for a while there. Every time we had to stop at the Taco John's in Chamberlain.
Oh yeah, on the road trips between Rapid City and Minnesota.
City. We always had to stop there every single time for a while.
I think the original Taco John's was actually from Wyoming, wasn't it? Gillette?
Their headquarters is in Cheyenne, so I'm assuming that they started in Cheyenne, unless they moved.
It was by a creek.
Of course, everything in Wyoming.
So anyway, but yes, we often would stop down road trips.
Sean,
so that's
back
what you
to the structure here. So
good luck, John.
Did you grow up eating Taco John's, or did you come to it more late in life and just latch onto it because we were such fans?
I do think, to the best of my recollection, I remember going to Taco John's more often in Rapid than before. There was, and I'm assuming still is, a tiny Taco John's in Torrington. But I don't remember going to it very often. I remember going by it, but...
Okay.
I saw a picture of it. They renovated it. It's now 3 stories.
It's the Uber one.
Okay. So, Sean, do you still like them, or is it just more of a thing you don't think about much in the past?
I still like them. I just, unfortunately, it's not as convenient to get to one as it used to be.
True.
So I don't get to go very often. And they actually closed the one that was nearest to us on Maryland in St. Paul.
Yeah, that's right.
They closed that one?
They just closed that one not too long ago. Yeah, I just heard about that a few weeks ago.
Oh, well.
So
sad.
that's too bad. So I'm not even sure where all the ones are in the Twin Cities now, actually.
And they aren't as good out here. I don't know.
I've noticed that too.
The best Taco John's in the whole world is in Rapid City, and it was next to Family Thrift Center.
I'd agree with that.
You might be right. I do remember them being pretty good.
The theory, and I've definitely thought about this more than I should, is that the theory here is that the further away from Cheyenne you get, the worse they get.
That could be.
There's some aura.
Well, they probably have different suppliers or something.
I don't know. It's something.
No, it's an aura.
It's an
so
aura.
So in theory, the one in theory that ascribing to that, the one in Torrington theoretically should be really good.
Yeah, it should have been good. So you
because it's only 90 miles away from
Sean.
Cheyenne.
You missed out. You were in prime Taco John's territory.
I probably have. I think I remember going more often when I was quite young, when it was still open, to the A&W root beer stand that they had in Torrington.
No.
It was actually a drive-in. It was like an old 50s...
No, Rapid City used to have one of those.
That's
right. I think I remember hearing about that, although I think they closed by the time I came
It was
along.
gone.
But when I was quite young...
My dad worked at that when he was a kid, flipping burgers.
Oh, that's cool. He made lots of Papa burgers.
Probably. Maybe a couple
the
of Mama
Papa burgers and the Mama burgers. Yeah, I remember those.
This is total sidetrack, but my favorite thing at that A&W was the pizza burgers. Oh, I love those.
You know what?
Things.
My wife loves pizza burgers.
The pizza burger discussion is continued in the past in episode 8A. We apologize for the inconvenience. Our operators are all Stanley.
But maybe that was an A&W thing where she grew up
she
too,
got
right?
it at a drive-in, but it wasn't an A&W. It was one of these local places. But the thing that's interesting...
So good.
Now, is it a pizza burger? How do you define that? Because her pizza burger is like this seasoned pressed meat patty with cheese on it. It doesn't have like marinara or anything like that on it.
I think that's what that's pretty much what A&W's was too.
Mm-hmm. And
it had kind of a tomatoey flavor too, though.
She loved this thing, just like
oh no, that was my favorite.
Or maybe
thing.
it was even this meat patty that was breaded and fried. I don't know. I'll have to ask her to double check on that. But it was not like you would think it would be like a sausage patty with marinara and mozzarella and all that
With
stuff
a
on it.
with the pot, with the pizza on top of a
No.
patty,
It was
basically.
definitely, it was more like a real hamburger, except it must have had spices and extra crap on it
And a mustache.
and a mustache. Luigi. I definitely still like Taco John's, and they're better in Rapid City. I still like. I love. My favorite thing is probably the Taco Bravo. You know, the thing with what Taco Bell bastardized and called the double decker.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't had that there. But yeah,
they're a pale
but
imitation.
basically, when you make them at home, it's so smart, really, because it holds the top. So basically, it's like a soft tortilla shell, beans, hard shell slapped in there. But the soft shell protects, and then the taco stuff in the hard shell. But the filling, but it's kind of brilliant in a way because the soft shell and the beans hold the hard shell
It
together.
does. I mean,
so-
it is the
That
best.
does
taco.
sound really clever.
and even if it cracks, it's still
No,
fine
no,
because
they're
you're.
great. They're great.
And they taste good.
The other thing about, besides just the basic structural integrity of it, is that Taco John's, I maintain, has better refried beans than
I've
Taco
always
Bell
felt
does.
that.
And sometimes you feel it the next day.
Oh
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's important, because if you're going to have all those beans in there, you got to have good ones.
I've always liked
And
the
Taco
refried beans.
Taco
I always
Bell,
used to get
I'll
those.
take it in a pinch. But what I end up doing is throwing lots and lots of taco sauce on it, kind of because the beans have so little flavor.
No, they're like kind of a brown paste.
Yeah, they're not good.
yeah.
And the thing
No.
about Taco John's beans, at least they used to be, they had a lot more flavor to them, probably because they have lard in them. Let's be honest. But
Probably.
and then the other thing about Taco John's is they had this thing called the Taco Burger.
Oh, that was my favorite
And
thing at
those are
Taco.
great. Nobody else ever did a taco burger.
No, because you have this kind of, it was like a stale bun that they steamed a little
Yep,
bit or something, and then they basically have to put the taco fixings inside that. That was my favorite.
Those are good too.
I still order those.
Yeah. No, and of course they always did Taco Tuesday. Now,
Of course.
I'll veer off into Wyoming here, because in Laramie, Wyoming, where two of us
We
went
haven't
to
talked
school.
about Lynn.
No, we haven't talked about our friend Lynn, who is still there, I think.
I'm assuming. I need to
Sorry,
send him an email.
all of our South Dakota fans. We're talking about Wyoming for a bit. Sorry.
Started in Wyoming, so the story
Most
goes.
people won't know him.
Anyway,
When
yeah,
in my college years, the Taco John's there, which was really a shack. It didn't have, the best ones were shacks.
that was
The one in
Laramie.
Torrington
Wyoming,
was a shack,
where the
too.
university is.
Yeah.
And
The one in
like a-
Laramie was
a-
very similar to the one in Torrington, where
they all used to be like that. They didn't have
I
this
imagine
red
they
roof-
were. Yeah.
salsa
All
a red
those
bars,
roof
older
or
ones.
all
something?
this stuff on them. But
All those older
Red
ones.
roof?
Yeah.
so this one, it was so great because on Taco Tuesday, the traditional Taco Tuesday is two hard shell tacos for $1. But
yeah.
but in Laramie, it was 3 for $1.
Oh,
So
that's
I
right.
It was
It
the
wasn't
Taco
it?
Wars.
So every Tuesday we'd go over there. I'd order 6 for $2 fucking dollars. That was
That's
such
great
a
for
good
college.
deal. Oh, I loved that. It was so good.
Oh, good.
And so our friend Lynn, he would always have to walk up, and I would just order my 6 tacos and be done. But he would have to order some weird burrito, and he'd ask for this special green sauce that was super hot that wasn't on the menu or something. And he'd say, I want you to
secret
put
menu.
this special green sauce on there. And they all knew what he was
No,
talking about, but I didn't. The first time, it's like, what are you doing?
Just ordered the freaking tacos.
Just do the taco. It's Taco Tuesday. Why are you ordering this other crap? No.
You should have put some jalapeno.
I always
Put some
used to just
jalapeno
get
tuna on there.
Okay, let's get jalapeno tuna out of the way. Sidetrack. So, I spent a year as a roommate of Lynn's, and we shared a house. And one day he came home from the grocery store with a whole.
I was there for a couple months.
Yep, yeah, you were sleeping on our couch for a while during your wild, crazy years, and and so Lynn comes out of the kitchen with this stacks and stacks of canned tuna. Except he holds one up and goes, "This is jalapeno tuna."
Oh yeah.
And okay,
Jalapeno
it was like-
tuna.
and
I
so
do remember
No
that.
one else would buy
Okay.
it.
yeah, it was.
we get a good deal
the
on
thing
it.
is, he'd gone to Albertsons or whatever, and it was on closeout. I wonder why.
Yeah, 'cause
And-
nobody else would want it. Like Phil said.
So Lynn would make this stuff that he called Yuck.
Yep.
No,
Cooking
Yuck.
up some
There were
yuck.
He'd say, so
There were
I'd walk in
variants
after a
of
day in classes, and I didn't know what Lynn was doing, but he was there. And I'd walk in, "Hey, what you doing, Lynn?" "I'm cooking up some yuck." And yuck was basically elbow macaroni mixed with whatever else you happen to have in the house. And
Soup.
so for a long time, it was jalapeno tuna yuck. With
It was kind of like a tuna
it was-
casserole.
yeah,
I
I
suppose.
suppose it was
Yeah.
some twisted variation on tuna casserole.
Put some potato chips on there.
Yeah.
He didn't get that fancy, trust me.
No.
So anyway, that's jalapeno tuna. But back to Taco John's. Those are the things that are good about them. You know, I still like to have it when I go back to visit Rapid City, and most people don't share my enthusiasm.
No, they never got into it. Now, I have a Taco John story.
Yeah, so I've
because
exhausted all my anecdotes. So go ahead, Phil.
So
It's
so
full
back in I'm guessing it was probably we had to eat lunch during a taping session or something, and we all went to Taco John's. And at the time, you had to give your name. So Sean wasn't paying attention. He was talking, you know, whatever. So I say, or no, maybe it was John. I don't even remember the whole story now, but I said my name. We'd give fake names, but for some reason this day somebody said John, and then I said John. And then the next person said John, or it was Sean. I think it was Sean. And then Sean gets up there and he orders, and he says his name, and the lady looks at him like, "That's not your name." And Sean was like, "No, it is," because he didn't know. He was oblivious to what was going on before. And
happens.
I just remember this, like Sean was like, "No, that's my name," and she just wouldn't believe him. So I don't
I don't remember.
I don't
that.
God, I forgot all about
maybe-
that.
Maybe, or
Me
was that
too.
you, John? I've screwed up. It's such a funny story, but I screwed it up. But anyway, so we're going to re-record this. So anyway, it was John, and no, we kept saying John's name. No, whatever.
And now, Phil, you'll do a
they-
Sounds
voiceover now that
plausible.
says, "Wrong. Actually, it was Sean."
Right.
I don't know who it was. So, sometimes we can. Sometimes it's not me. It's the narrator.
Oh, the
It's,
narrator. Topic shift. Sean, is your mother running for any elected office this year?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
I think
She
she,
did-
I
she
think she
did
may have had
once.
her fill of that, so to speak.
She did once. Well, that's a whole other story.
It is.
I'm just
There's
I
at
feel like
least-
we need to get all these important things out of the way.
There's at least a couple of stories involved with moms not
We probably have several.
predictably not successful Democratic run for office 20 years ago or whenever that was.
But bless her for running as a Democrat in South Dakota. Somebody
is
had
a
to.
Somebody
Tough
had
job.
to. It is. And it's
At least since like the early '80s. Right? The one story with that was somehow she got in her head. I was visiting at the time, I think.
Yeah.
But I was visiting my family, and my family was separated, and so I'd be like, you know, sometimes with my mom, sometimes with my dad, and it just my time was taken up with that stuff. And she got it in her head that I would do stand-up comedy for one of her rallies, and I'm like, Ellen, I've never done stand-up comedy. I'm funny sometimes in situations, but I don't have any jokes. So anyway. But she just insisted that I would do it, and I said, I'll write you a campaign song, but I don't, you know.
And he did,
He did.
which we still have. It's a great song.
It is.
I guess we could cue it now.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's time to take a stand. Grab the future in your hands. It's time to make a change. So let's make it grand. Don't always vote for what has been. Don't always elect Republican men. Women have a voice too. Ellen's voice rings loud and true. Vote for progress, the future can't wait. And Ellen for sure will give it to you straight. No fast talk or bold-faced lies. Send Ellen to work, to their surprise. They won't know what to do when Ellen's job is through. We'll have lower crime and better paying jobs. She'll send them packing, those Republican slobs. Ellen Bishop for House of Representatives, and the Bishop for House of Representatives, and the Bishop for House of Representatives, and the Bishop for House of Representatives, and the
I'm going into the red.
Are we done with Taco John's? Did we satisfy that?
We might be.
I am.
What is your
I think we
opinion
might.
on Apple Grande? Yes or no?
No, I ate it.
I don't actually.
never
That's not
had
one
it.
of my favorites.
No, Taco John's wasn't successful in everything.
Now the one thing that they got rid of years ago that I loved in the Rapid City ones is their enchilada.
No, I used to have an enchilada and a taco burger. That was my
Those are
my combo.
good, and they haven't had them for years and years. And
No, those really were good.
I want one right now.
I remember I was like, we'd go there as a kid, and I don't know how old I was, but I was like, because I always just got taco burgers, but I thought, today I'm gonna. It was a rite of passage, I guess. Yeah. Today I'm a man, and I'm gonna have an enchilada. A young man, but also for some reason you had to put like clothespin on your nipples. But anyway, so I went up and I ordered the that, and I thought, I don't know, but it was so good. And that was I don't think they had potato olays when we were kids, did they?
I don't remember eating potato olays until I was maybe in high school.
I think that was.
No, I think the old Shack version of Taco John's. I think you just had the essentials.
So these shacks, they were like they were kind of like a food truck, except they were fixed. I mean, really, they were just small.
You could walk in there. There was a little lobby vestibule area where you could order,
but you couldn't eat there.
No. The famous one over on Campbell Street in Rapid City. It's still there. Yeah. You had to eat. You took it to go, or they had a few picnic tables outside.
Yeah,
picnic
just outside.
That was it.
Yeah.
The one by the Family Thrift Center had the picnic
That's the one I'm
tables,
talking
and
about.
it had.
On Campbell.
Okay, right.
Yep.
Right, and that was, and there was some kind of land back behind there. I don't know what that
soccer
was.
fields.
A dump.
There was some soccer fields back there. There was a year where I was playing soccer as a youth. And I was I was terrible at it. I had an abusive coach, which we'll talk about some other.
Oh, jeez.
We could do a whole episode on things that mess you up for life as a child, but.
So this guy was like taking youth soccer like way too seriously.
Pretty much, yeah. And and the thing is, I think the team sucked too, which is probably not a coincidence.
No. Did you play soccer, Sean?
No.
Shaka Khan.
No, I did. I played t-ball, which was like the lowest level of baseball one year, and that was it. We didn't even have soccer in Torrington. It hadn't been invented yet. They're always a little behind the times down there.
And now it's time for a Time to Lean Sports Minute with Skip Skipperson.
Hi. The Torrington T-Ballers are out there strong today. And they're all coming up with new names because they don't like their mascot was a turkey. The Torrington Turkey T-Ballers.
Let's be honest, none of us were really sporty.
No. I think that's safe to say.
Okay, so we can't talk about
team
soccer.
I was
you
on,
don't have a soccer story.
The team I was on in T-ball, we never won a game the entire season.
I remember the one soccer team the year I quit, actually, it became less fun. You get to a certain age, and the kids were like, you always group together with two tiers of age groups. So there's like the older kids and the younger kids. And these older kids were like, hey, are you a stud? I'm like, I'm not a piece of wood. I was very literate, but or literal. But I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but I kind of figured it out that it had something to do with have I had sex yet? But, I was like 11 or something. I don't know what. I was like, what are you talking about that? But anyway, whatever.
Wow.
That's my soccer story. So I quit.
Yeah,
I
was terrible
know.
at soccer. And
It wasn't fun.
My siblings were much better. Like Rob was a good soccer. Like
I got that impression.
he was on a team with Adam Vinatieri, who is now an NFL player, I think.
Really?
So basically, but I don't think the team was good because of Rob, was it? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. He was good enough, but I don't think he was. I don't remember.
He was no Adam Vitelli. He was better than you.
Adam's dad was the coach.
Oh.
No, they were They were the Panthers, I believe. I'm not sure. I remember that.
Oh, I don't remember any names from my teams.
That sounds.
I don't remember the name of the team I was on either.
Like I remember seeing the
Fuckers.
shirts or something.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fuckers. And now Alan's going to sing the national anthem.
Anyway, back to the show. Sean, is there a question or any topic you want to raise with us after listening to our show?
I wrote some stuff down, but I can't remember
no,
what
you
they
wrote
were
stuff
or where
down.
that is right now.
we never write anything down.
I think they were. I think
I have a couple times.
it was something about recommendations that you were making, and I was coming up with recommendations, but I can't remember what they were. And I also, it was weeks ago, so I can't even remember where I wrote them
post
down
them
right
on
now, so.
our Facebook page. We
Yeah,
gotta get our
if and when I
listenership
find
up, damn it!
Yes, that's right.
Come on.
So, Sean, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, good question.
I couldn't
Depends
answer
on
that.
when you ask me.
How about today?
A frequent answer that I give is the 1958 film Mon Oncle, which is a film by Jacques Tati.
Tati.
I like that movie a lot, but there are other movies I like in that same realm, including other films by Jacques Tati. I like Playtime quite a lot.
All right, hold on. I just got a whole other topic idea. The Oak Street Cinema.
Ooh,
Remember that?
Yeah.
The Oak Street Cinema.
How could I forget? I went there a lot because I lived not that far
I
away.
associate that with.
That's where I first
Tati
saw
or whatever.
some of those movies. Was at the Oak Street
I think you
Cinema.
talked me into going to see
So
them
one
there.
of those.
So Oak Street Cinema was they would run. It was on Oak Street, ironically,
It
but
was.
they and they showed movies
You could
even
say
in the cinema.
You'd call them a repertory or art house cinema.
Yes.
They showed lots of old and art film.
Oh, but
Yes.
they'd also okay, it's Stanley Kubrick month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So every single Stanley Kubrick movie, or no, Fellini was the one
Fellini, they
that
did a bunch. Yeah.
that was probably my favorite summer, and of course
And
that
Francois
was,
Truffaut did a bunch of those. I saw a bunch of Francois Truffaut films there.
so you could go and watch all the director's movies, and for anybody that's a film buff, that was so cool.
You could become a film buff just from going to them and keeping track of what they were
Probably.
doing. Because they
So-
ran all that
And
stuff,
sometimes they interrupt you, Phil, but they would. We actually saw Michael Moore there once.
I went,
Yeah.
I have an autograph. I have an autograph book by him.
What
From
That was
what
quite
was
memorable.
the film? Can you remember what film it was that he was plugging when he showed up there?
It wasn't one of his best.
It wasn't one of his best, but he
some
was shooting
after Roger
part of
Moore.
a film there. And we'll have to check on that.
No, that was a
it
great
was
place.
not one of his better ones, but it was interesting.
It was
being
one
there.
of these theaters that it was kind of a dive, not what I would
Kinda.
call a great theater. It wasn't even that.
Oh, the seats were
No,
terrible.
no. It was a classic.
they were very
old
low ball.
art theater. You know.
Yeah.
That's not why you went
No.
there.
It was a university basic art theater, and it didn't really pretend to be anything fancier than it was, so I liked it.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it around today. I mean, some of the other
There
places
really isn't.
do a little bit here and there, but nothing that's
The Heights
just
Theater
does
is
that.
probably the closest one I can think of because
what?
they run
which
the
one?
Heights Theater.
Oh yeah, the
runs-
Heights,
definitely.
yeah. Oh
But
yeah,
they-
yeah.
They
pretty
run
much-
some of the same kinds of stuff.
They during most of the time they run first run regular movies.
They do during the week mostly, yeah. And then there's a couple of days of the week where they run older ones.
Right.
But the Oak Street, you could go twice a day, every day, or something if you wanted to, and you'd see like an entire director's or Buñuel. I went with
Buñuel, we went to some of those. I think.
my friend Faith. We went to a couple of those.
Yeah.
So another Oak Street Cinema story is that when I got married, I put Shawn in charge of the bachelor party.
Oh my God!
And and it was Shawn and I and a few other guys, and so we went to Stub and Herbs, which is going to go out of business because they're going to build. The land is worth like $5 million now, and it was sold it's going to be sold to the University Trust or
Stub
something.
and Herbs is just down the street from where the Oak Street used to be.
And it probably
About
is
half a block.
that land is worth $5 million now, so they almost have to sell it.
That's
They'll probably build
what
up
happened to the Oak Street too. That whole block got
condo.
redeveloped. Yeah,
They'll build up condos that look like everything else.
everything
in, that
in
area.
there is it's all being redeveloped into
Are not condos, but really expensive student housing.
really tall buildings. The one that they're
apartments.
putting in now is really close to there. Is so tall. It's actually
See it
taller than
miles away.
Moose Tower. Yeah.
And they all look alike. But
Pretty
anyway,
much.
so
The bachelor party.
So Sean's thing.
Bachelor
So Sean's thing was we'll go to the Stub and John wouldn't even go. It was like he wouldn't do it. No, I don't know what happened. But were you there? No, you weren't there.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Was John there? None of us remember if John was there, including John.
It's
But-
all a haze.
It was quite a while ago.
Well, I'll never forget parts of it. So, a couple of the guys were sort of like bachelor party, but Sean nailed what would have been a good thing for me. It wasn't like a stereotypical
Right.
bachelor party. So, I went to Stub and Herbs, had a beer, talked a little bit, ate something. Then we went to the Oak Street Cinema and saw La Dolce Vita, I think it was.
Oh, that's when we
And,
saw that. I do
a great
remember
show.
a bunch of us going to
Well,
see that, but I
but see-
forgot that was part of your.
But for whatever reason, that little time in my life, it was all Fellini, you know, so, and not just I don't know. It was a summer, and it was a kind of a Fellini summer, I guess. I don't know how many. I went with Rob to one of the movies. It was oh God, I don't remember the title, but no.
I still need to see that one.
No, I saw that too, but no, this was a more obscure one, I guess you would say. Not one of his more famous ones. It was like, oh shit. Well, one of the
I've never heard of oh shit.
maybe the well, it was El Chite. No, but the
La Sheet.
La Chite. I got it in Spanish, but it was the one scene. Rob and I thought was so funny, but it was like the character. Oh God, I can't even remember the name of that actor, but I'm sure it was him, Mastrani, whatever. But Straboni, Linguini.
Marcello.
But he went to see this. It was like the most manly man, or the most. This guy had a beard. He went to his house. It was all a man house, and it was. Had a red beard, and he was so virile, and everything was phallic, and it was so funny. But I don't remember the name of the damn movie. But
That sounds very funny.
Rob and I laughed so hard at that. I think it was just Rob and I that went to that one for some
Okay.
reason.
When you think of it, let me know. I might have to see that one because that does sound really funny. And I haven't seen enough Fellini, so
The narrator will tell us.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're on your own.
yes.
But the narrator
help
knows.
us, oh narrator.
Yeah, but the theater sucked. But yeah, it was.
But they ran
it was
such
really
great
cool.
stuff. They made up for it in content what they lacked in physical facilities.
I guess my favorite thing was the fact that they would run just everything by somebody, in a row.
A theme.
I guess what did you call it, John? It was kind of repertoire.
Yeah.
They're usually called repertory theaters, or
Repertory.
where they would show. It's mostly a fancy name.
Classic stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
old movies.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, whatever.
Vintage.
Yeah, some of that. Not too long before that, it was that outfit was going. But even in the first years that I lived in the Twin Cities, that same group of people would run film showings at the university campus, like in
Yeah.
Bell Museum, or
Bell Museum at the time.
campus.
or Phil Nicholson Hall, room 45. You remember that room?
Lee and I went.
I went there once.
Lee and I went. Oh no, we all went there once
Yeah.
for something, but I don't remember the movie.
The film guys.
Yeah, I remember
That
waiting
does sound
outside to get
vaguely
in.
familiar.
Yeah, it was
In that old part that's not there in
that was
Nicholson
torn
Hall
down
anymore. It's been
years
torn
ago.
down. I have a fond memory of that, but I don't remember the date. Oh no, Canadian Bacon, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't.
Is that where-
Oh, that was at the Oak Street.
Is that where? Oh, so maybe we saw Michael Moore at the Oak Street
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Canadian Bacon.
You know what I remember seeing at Nicholson 45 was this goofy. It might have been Norwegian or something like the movie about somebody that works in a morgue or something like that, and the bodies all come.
This sounds familiar.
Bodies all come back to life or something. It was some kind of a thriller.
Oh.
I don't know. That was the one time I went there, and then they condemned it, and it sat there for 20 years.
So Lee and I in my Kurosawa phase, we went to see the Seven Samurai at the U, but it
Good
was
one.
on the West Bank. It was in the West Bank Auditorium.
Yeah, I saw a few at that.
Not
one they
not
used to
not.
And I don't know if
there
it,
too.
no, and
no.
I don't know if it was the same group,
Yeah.
but this
I
was
think
way
it was a
before I
different
ever
group.
worked at the
No,
U.
yeah, this was years before I was there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how whatever. But so that was during my Kurosawa phase. But
Wow,
I
so
saw
many
some
phases.
Kurosawa films at the Oak Street too. Yeah.
And most of that has been pretty much taken out by everybody's access to video, and there's not much
a
left.
big problem.
and people not wanting to go anywhere. But I think that I think there would still be a niche for something like that. I don't think you're going to make $1 million, but to show it doesn't have to have those reclining seats with the vibrating anal probes, but some kind of those are fine. But I don't need to, it's like, oh, it's a tense scene, so something goes, I don't need that.
Sun surround.
Sean and I saw, it wasn't an anal probe, but Sean and I went to see with Connie and Dylan, went to see the Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah.
But it was at one of these theaters that had, and I'm getting old, so this is I'm sorry, kids, but it was at one of these theaters that was like the Super Vibrotron or something. It was like the old 50s things with like the electroshock chairs or something. But it was like I've watched so many movies. I don't need to have my chair tell me when I need to be excited. Right? I mean, but so the bass would come on, and for like a spaceship landing, or not a spaceship, but one of their Blade Runner ships. Oh boy, I don't know any names of anything. Hi everybody. But so that would land, and it would have this, or there'd be some really tense scene where the music would go, and the bass was so pumped up, and it was like it would shoot through your ass, and it would your whole body would vibrate.
But
and
you stay regular.
it's yeah. Or no, like that one quote, I couldn't shit right for a week or whatever from Bad Santa, but whatever. But that isn't the exact quote. Oh, I'm swearing tonight. I never swear. It's Sean's fault.
Sean's fault. Phil, I agree. That stuff's dumb. Although reclining seats, I've gotten used to those because they're near my house, and I hate not.
The
having
nice
those.
seats are nice.
Tonight's episode is brought to you by Nice Seats. They're nice. I love my nice seat. I got one last year, and I tell you, I love to sit in it at nighttime, in the daytime, sometimes even in the afternoon. A nice seat is a seat that can't be beat. Nice Seats. If you're going to sit on something, it might as well be nice. Enter promo code Time to Lean, and your discount is ding, 10%.
Yeah, I have to admit,
They're
I
the
like
best.
comfy
I'm
seats.
sorry. I just can't. I don't like the old ones anymore.
Nothing against. I get that because it's more comfortable.
Well, that and you
they
can
need to do
reserve your
that.
seat, so you can go. So you
Yeah.
can buy it online earlier, and you just walk in and your seat's already there. You don't have to line up and try and rush in there and get your seat.
We're kind
I
of
don't miss
trying
that crap
that,
at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't miss that. However,
However,
back to kissing the past ass. In Rapid City, there were two bigger theaters when we were kids: the Rapid and the Elks.
yes.
And I
Last
remember
I heard, the Elks is still there.
It's still going.
Still
No,
going.
it is.
And it is huge.
But in those days, like to see a real big movie, I remember E.T. My aunt took my brothers and I, or maybe it was just me, I can't remember. It was 100 years ago, to see E.T. So, but the line would go all the way around the block, you know. But so there was something kind of, yes, I don't miss waiting in line and trying to get there an hour early. But there was something about that anticipation, like I'm going to go see the new Star Wars movie, or I'm going to see
I
E.T.,
stood in line for a lot of Star Trek movies at those theaters, and after that, I have a lot of nostalgia for that. But today, I'm happy to not do that. And today, what you do is you just have to go online, 2 months in advance, and buy your tickets early.
No.
If it's opening week,
I can't plan that far ahead.
It's hard, yeah.
But let's we need Shawn on again, because I mean, this was fun. I just wanted to have a few episodes to get kind of established before we started having guests. But this was
we did have a few.
But thank you, Shawn.
Thank you very much, Shawn, for taking time
to
join us tonight.
And we'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
This is Magic Time to Space, Shawn. I really like your China girl. Okay, so, oh, God. Can't end on that. Okay, click. No. And here's a song.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, wait.
What's our
I'm
song
sorry.
gonna be for this episode? Who
No,
knows?
I'm sorry.
Good question.
No. I have to mention this because before we go, I think for the song on this episode at the end of this one, although this is probably a two-parter, but we'll do A Country Come Together,
Yay!
which is another story because John and Shawn and I. So I have a friend, Dave Daniels, who is a reggae spoken word artist, and he was doing a cabaret at the place next to First Avenue, 7th Street entry.
Yeah.
And he asked, hey, Phil, would you do something for this cabaret thing? And so we came up with a Segway cabaret, and kind of in the middle, it was almost like an intermission. And John and Shawn and I did like 2 skits, and did that,
song-like
and then
things.
ended with our version of Come Together. That was a weird thing doing that.
That whole thing
recording
was
that
very
because,
weird.
It wasn't recorded, but it was basically the way I describe it is we got every in like how many ever minutes we had, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. We got every kind of reaction you could imagine from an audience in 8 minutes. So
including stone silence.
Right.
People had no idea how to react to a lot of it.
Well, and laughs and they were scared and frightened and angry but that was anyway. Then we ended with that, and then the 2 sound gals came up afterwards and said that was the best thing I've ever seen here. And if the sound people compliment you, that I take, I've gotten
thought that
compliments.
was pretty complimentary too.
And
My favorite thing about the entire performance, though, was during one of the skits, somebody shouted out, "What is this? Some kind of performance art shit?"
Well, we were kind of
that was actually in some ways better than what we were doing.
Looking back now, I would have peed on the guy and said yeah, but no. We were treading that line.
We kind of were.
That was fun,
but very compressed, and before people had time to react to something, we'd move on to something else. It was
Well, you can't let them think too long.
No,
you can't. Okay. Anyway, John's running out of battery time.
On that note, click.
Well, we're gonna run A Country Come Together.
Yay!
And you know what? Maybe this country can come together.
Oh,
I blew up my headphones.
And you deserve to for that.
I pulled my headphone cord out.
Aww.
All right, everybody. Don't pull.
Good night, Shawn.
Make sure to pull out tonight.
Good night.
Okay, good night.
Press stop.
Everybody, press stop.
Don't you press stop. There's more to come.
You can do it, you can do it. You can do it, you can do it.
Time for a Time to Lean flashback.
Here's the song! Be the intro. It's time to take a stand, grab the future in your hand. It's time to make a change, so let's make it grand. Don't always vote for what has been, don't always select Republican men. Women and boys too, and Ellen's voice rings out and true. Vote for progress, future can't wait. Ellen for sure will get you straight. No fast darker, bold-faced lies, and Ellen work there surprise. They won't know what you do when Ellen's job is through. We'll have lower crime, better paying jobs, and Ellen work there.
You've reached the end of Side B. Please return your seats to its upright position and keep your hands inside your pants at all times. The exit signs are illuminated to your left and the right. Please leave now, then come back for next week's episode, which will happen next month. So if you'd like another song link, follow a song link in the descriptor of this episode, and you will be sent to a song that's linked to a different website. It's kind of confusing, but I think you can figure it out. 9 out of 10 of our listeners are probably in the upper echelons of faculty. Is that you?